Hello, gem hunter. No matter where you live, if you stop to think about it, you will realize that more and more people are looking for ways to relieve the tension and stress of everyday life. And to solve this problem, there is nothing more therapeutic and better to relax than a walk in nature, right? Especially if you're passionate about gemstones, you probably already know that this type of activity is very enjoyable and fun. What you may not know is that this activity can also be very lucrative.
And it's super dark purple.
That's what you've heard. However, dismantling quarries, exploring abandoned mines by turning over tailings, digging up the earth in search of mines is definitely not the easiest way to find precious stones. But if you look in the gravels that form in dry riverbeds, you should know that there may be fortunes waiting for you in the form of precious stones of all kinds and colors, depending on your region. And when I say precious stones, I mean a wide variety of gems that can be very valuable indeed. That's why in today's video, we're going to focus only on diamonds, talking about how to identify them and their main characteristics, as they are the most sought after and confused with other crystals such as quartz and topaz. By the way, do you know why diamonds are so special? Well, it's not just their hardness, beauty, and rarity. You've heard the saying about combining the useful with the pleasurable, and it applies very well here. Imagine that satisfying walk, breathing in the fresh air along a river, and suddenly finding a rough and valuable diamond. The sensation is incredible. It seems like a dream, but it's quite possible. Remember, I said possible, not easy, but this is by far the most fun and enjoyable way to look for gems. From river pebbles to gravelly hillsides, these sediments and rocks carried by rivers are known as alluvial deposits. More specifically, igneous and alluvial deposits are the richest sources of precious stones. But sedimentary and metamorphic rocks also contain some of these gems. Still, it's important to remember that if you're looking for a specific gemstone, you need to know that the geology of the region will determine what types of gems you can find. However, there are some gemstones that can be found in a variety of environments. Some examples of denser gems that can be found in alluvial deposits are chrysoberyl, garnet, sapphire, topaz, tourmaline, zircon, and the most famous and sought-after of all gems, the diamond. However, the great difficulty for the novice gem hunter is identifying a gemstone to know if it is real and valuable, as it can easily be mistaken for ordinary stones. Whether you're observing a gravel pit on a hike or prospecting with sieves and gold pans, the big question is, how do you know if you found a real diamond? Well, that's what I'm going to show you. Several white crystals can have the appearance of a diamond, such as white zircon, white sapphire, white topaz, quartz, which is a common rock crystal, and earth glass. The last three are perhaps the most common, but all of these gemstones have different physical, chemical, and optical properties. The most significant difference between diamonds and other gemstones lies in their composition. While all other gemstones are made up of two or more elements, diamonds are the only gemstone made up of a single element, carbon. However, this type of analysis can only be performed by a specialized professional with the right equipment, and it is the only indisputable way to identify a gemstone. But calm down before you lose hope. There are some homemade methods that, although not infallible, can be quite effective when it comes to identifying a diamond. The first tip is that gemstones carried by rivers suffer a lot of friction with other minerals, and this is why they are usually found with rounded shapes, which is not the case with diamonds because they are a mineral that is at the top of the hardness scale. So any other stone that has suffered somewhere is certainly not a diamond. This doesn't mean that any stone with corners is a diamond, as it could be a quartz crystal that is recently broken. Remember, just because the crystal you find isn't a diamond doesn't mean it's worthless. My suggestion is that anything you find that catches your eye and is at least interesting, especially if it has a metallic sheen, should be analyzed more calmly, even if it's not a diamond or other stone of commercial value. Any crystal has the potential to become part of your collection. The second test is what is known as the fog test. This test is very simple. Place the gemstone next to your mouth and project your breath against it as if you were trying to fog a mirror. After 1 or 2 seconds, if it is a diamond, it will clear up. If it is not, it will remain fogged for longer. This is because diamonds dissipate heat instantly, making it impossible to fog. But for this test to work, make sure the diamond is clean and there are no oils covering the stone. The third is the brilliance test. The way a stone reflects and refracts light is a good indication. Diamonds distort and refract the light that passes through them, resulting in their incredibly brilliant appearance. Stones, such as glass and quartz, shine less because they have a lower refractive index. The brilliance of a stone is very difficult to change, even with a special cut, because it is an inherent property of the crystal structure. The at-home brilliance test is a visual inspection of the stone's reaction to light. Diamonds have an intense, almost metallic luster and reflect light in more grayish tones, which means that even if it is a colored diamond, which would make it much more valuable, there may be a slight variation in the hue of that particular color. But it shouldn't vary between different colors. So if your stone has many colors, it probably isn't a diamond. One important thing to remember is not to confuse brilliance with reflectance. While brilliance refers to the intensity of light that is refracted by the gem, such as objects in water, reflection has to do with the color of the light that is refracted, such as pointing a laser at a mirror. So when it comes to diamonds, in addition to the color of the light, it is the intensity of the light that is most important to look at. And here's an interesting tidbit. Did you know that there is a stone that is even brighter than a diamond? That's right, I'm talking about moissanite. This gemstone is so similar to diamond that even jewelers have trouble telling them apart. A very effective way to tell the difference without any special equipment is to hold a stone up to your eye and shine a light bulb behind it. If you see the colors of the rainbow, this is a sign of double refraction, the same effect depicted on the cover of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album. This is a characteristic of moissanite, but not of diamond. Interesting, don't you think? Now the next test will test your stone's resistance to heat, friction, and pressure, because once applied, if your gem is a diamond, it won't suffer any damage. But if it's another natural or synthetic stone, it will be affected in some way. So I suggest you start with the previous tests and only continue with the next ones if you're still in doubt. The fourth test is heat. To apply this test correctly, expose the stone to a controlled open flame, such as from a blowtorch, for between 30 and 45 seconds, so as not to burn yourself. Try to hold the stone with tweezers with a rubber base. Immediately after heating, place the gemstone in a container of cold water. The sudden change in temperature will cause a thermal shock that can damage the physical structure of any gemstone that is not a diamond. The fifth test that you can easily perform at home is the sandpaper test. All you need is some sandpaper that is sold in hardware stores. They are also called water sandpaper. If you can't find the sandpaper, you can use those stones that are used to sharpen knives. You just need to rub the sandy side of the sandpaper against the stone. The sandpaper grain usually has a hardness between 7 and 9, but diamonds have a hardness of 10 on this scale, so a real diamond won't be scratched by sandpaper or an emery board. The sixth test is the pressure test, which is very interesting. It consists of pressing the stone with the force of your hand using pliers. Remember, you have to press and not hit. If you hit, even if it is a diamond, whether with a hammer or a sledgehammer, for example, you could damage it because the gemstone may have some kind of internal crack or fissure and may not be able to withstand the impact. So just press the gemstone with the pliers using the strength of your hands. If it is a diamond, you won't be able to break it. On the other hand, if it is not a diamond, it will break into smaller pieces, especially at the corners. After using these 6 tests, you can do the 7th test of relative density, for example, which I haven't listed here because I consider it very inaccurate due to the fact that other stones have a similar density to diamonds, and because it would be more effective in comparing natural diamonds with synthetic diamonds. So it could be even more confusing. Even after all these tests, you may still have doubts, but at least you'll know if your stone deserves to be stored more carefully and safely until it is taken to a specialist who can certify your diamond, making it truly valuable. I'd like to remind you that the main goal of the videos on this channel is not only to get rich with gemstones, but to encourage as many people as possible to dedicate themselves to this hobby, which contributes to the quality of life, health, and well-being of those who follow our weekly content. In addition, there are more techniques and more in-depth knowledge about gems such as rubies, sapphires, emeralds, among others, which you can learn in detail by accessing our digital gemology book for beginners. in the first link of the description or in the comment attached. Diamonds are fascinating gems with many unique characteristics. And to look for them in nature after years of study, geologists have discovered that there are minerals that indicate the presence of diamonds in certain regions. So to find out what these minerals are, watch this video that is now appearing on your screen. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gem Hunter!